Perfect.
But let's take it to my favorite segment right now, Spec, man. We haven't done this in a minute, but it's called Have You Heard? I take headlines in the news and I see if my guy Spec has heard. You might have heard
Let's
about
do it,
this one.
brother.
You might have heard about this one, man. It was an off-duty pilot trying to take control of a plane on Alaska Airlines. I believe it was a flight that was flying, I want to say to San Francisco from Washington. Yeah,
Something
from
like
Washington
that.
State. Joseph Emerson, 44-year-old gentleman, was sitting in what's known as the jump seat, where I think a lot of like off-duty pilots sometimes will ride, catch a, if you're
Right.
trying to catch a ride somewhere, you'll ride with the two working pilots that are on duty. And my man just out of nowhere. They said it was regular conversation. He was just like, "Yo, I'm not okay," and then reached up for like some fire
Yeah.
pull. I think it was like a fire extinguisher pull, I think, which cuts fuel off to the engine. Like in case there was a fire in the
Right.
engine, that will stop it from feeding the fuel. And I think he kind of got it a little bit, but they kind of subdued him,
Right.
so he couldn't complete it, and they were able to get it back in the position they needed it to be. Wrestled with him for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He kind of calmed down. He's like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. They got him out. They got him out the cockpit. He's like, you can't ride in the cockpit no more, dog. He goes like, tells the flight. He was like, yo, you probably should cuff me to the flight attendant. I think they said he went the rest of the flight without incident.
Yeah.
Until I think they started landing. He tried to go for the emergency exit latch, and a flight attendant stopped him from doing that. Also, gets on the ground. Talks to the cops. Come to find out, he took mushrooms.
Oh, so they released. Okay.
Well, this is his what he says.
Okay.
By his own admission. So he took mushrooms 48 hours earlier. Mushrooms don't stay in your system.
Damn. Okay. That's what I was
Yeah.
about to say, 48 hours.
48
What type
hours.
of shrooms you took?
But they say sometimes the residual effects could be the same way like a hangover. You could sometimes feel maybe the depression or the letdown or the come down for like days after. But this gentleman also suffered from depression. I think he said he recently lost a friend and he was sad from it. But it was just an interesting story because when you first heard about it, you're like, what the hell going on? Every time you hear about something going on in the air, you know what I'm saying? You're like, what the hell going on? And then as more and more facts came out about this, you were like, yo, that's interesting. Like, and then I think for me, this is crazy on some synchronicity type shit. I'm interested kind of in mushrooms a little bit. Like, I'm not opposed to having an experience with mushrooms. And I was like really like doing like thinking about it and looking into it. And then this happened. I'm like, oh no. I was like, maybe I gotta stick to what I know. You know what I'm saying? Because, but I mean that's what happens with psychedelics. You know what I'm saying? That's something you hear about. Like, people have great experiences with it, and then sometimes people have pre-existing things that are triggered by doing it, and they can get stuck with it. So it is always a risk. You know what I'm saying? That's why you've seen Jada Pinkett doing her press tour this past week, and everybody talking about how she was bashing Will, but something that I'd seen from it was she said the use of ayahuasca was great for her. She feel like it helped her on a healing path, but she was very careful to say it ain't for everybody. And you need to do it with a professional because it ain't just do it at your crib. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no recreational drug or nothing like that. But if I'm not mistaken, mushrooms are legal in I think Colorado, right? I want to say, and I might not be the only.
They're
state.
illegal some places.
They are most places. They're
oh,
illegal.
Okay. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that they were illegal.
Yeah, no, I want to say Colorado legalized mushrooms in the past year, and I see that spreading because there's like a microdosing is very popular. That's where you get like the small amounts, but I think they still have some great effects in terms of microdosing. So people tend to do that also. But,
but how? I mean, they sell. Obviously, there's different type of mushrooms, but they sell like. What part of the mushroom is illegal?
So
because they sell mushrooms obviously in stores.
Yeah. Well, magic mushrooms, if I'm not mistaken, comes from cow dung. It's fungus that grows on cow dung. I could be totally wrong, but don't take my word in. But the thing inside of it is called psilocybin, right? That's the chemical. Yeah, that gives you the psychedelic effect. And basically, I think this guy said he was up for 40 hours. So he took the mushrooms, must have slept for 8 hours, and then for the next 40 hours he was awake. So a doctor was saying the mix of psilocybin of his existing depression and then the sleep deprivation was probably a perfect storm for what he experienced. But yeah, no, like there's a lot of things that where I remember as a child just thinking of mushrooms and the way we looked at it, and it just seemed crazy. And now to see like that's something that people are using as actual therapy. MDMA is another one that is a popular therapy. And
that's a therapy now.
Yeah, a lot of if you do it under the care of a doctor, you know what I'm saying, they'll get administered to you, and then they watch you and make sure you know what they have. But a lot of people like do it like to connect with their partner. Like
what do you mean when you say connect?
Well, like let's say you had to go to couples therapy and you kind of felt like you guys were drifting away. Okay. They use it as a way to kind of, from what I hear from these experiences, they kind of take you out of this realm that we are in, and you feel more connected to nature. Like I even heard the story of the dude recently. They were doing because they were doing studies on this, and this guy was like a KKK member, and during the study they gave him MDMA, and he like left the study early or something like that, and left a note behind. He was like, "This experience has changed me." But it was really cryptic. They didn't quite know what he meant, and what he didn't like go into explanation. So I think he just left, and they felt like because of the letter that they had to follow basic because he might go shoot something up or something. Like while he's talking about it changed him, and he was like, "I was a lifetime racist. I was a lifetime KKK member. Well, not lifetime, but you know what I'm saying. Most of my adult life, KKK member, and this has totally changed my outlook. I feel way more connected to just humans. Now I don't even see that stuff anymore." He's like, I see how silly that is. I see how stupid the conflicts that we have are. So it's like, I mean, it's hippie drugs. You know what I'm saying? It makes people like love each other. You know what I'm saying? But we lived in a government that had monetary reasons for wanting to keep those type of things down.
But now does he have these feelings now while off of ecstasy essentially?
I think the way he explained it is it changed him. Yeah, he hasn't gone back. Now I don't know about 3 months later, 6 months later. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But because I hear things like that. You take Molly or something like that, and then you might be riding on a wave of it for a couple months.
Right? Because that's what I'm saying. Like I get like and then you take the drug, you connect, and all of that. But then what happens once it's out your system?
I think what I hear with like ayahuasca too, and these experiences, they change you. You're not the same person you were before. Like I think Paul McCarthy or John Lennon. I want to say maybe Paul McCarthy says his life. He looks at his life as before and after taking LSD. Like it's just not the same life anymore. He was living in his mind. So you know what I mean. Like that's the scary thing with it though. I don't want anything to change me or anything like that. But I think when a lot of people take ayahuasca and maybe they'll be atheists and they'll come back and they'll be like, no, there's a God.
I'm just curious. I would love to talk to like one of these people.
We should have them on the podcast, definitely. Yeah, we should interview one of them.
What was going on in your life that you felt the need, and then how did that help you like really change? Because for me it's like, okay, I go to sleep one person and then I wake up a completely different person.
Yeah, no, it sounds crazy, or it sounds like or it sounds like you might just revert back to what you were eventually, like it'll fade away.
Or was it just in your mind?
I heard things too, like, and I've heard this about ayahuasca and mushrooms, like, so for instance, let's say you have any kind of doubts about your relationship and you do it with your mate, you might come back like, yo, we're not meant to be together, but no hard feelings. Like I'm not hurt by it, she's not hurt by it. We were on this experience and it showed us where this is going. This ain't the right thing, and they'll be cool with it. You know what I'm saying? They'll be just good about it. So it's just like I think it really helps you to connect. I want to say in other cultures, obviously not in modern American culture, but in way back, I think drugs were a big part of religious experience. For sure. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think now we're just kind of seeing like, all right, they're looking at drugs in the sense of like the class A's and the class B's. Like, all right, we put that in there for this and that reason, but now we should reevaluate. You see with weed all over the country, and I think mushrooms are on the next wave, but it is still something you gotta be careful with. It is still something you gotta know what you're doing. Like, you can take too much of anything. Right. We can take too much gummies, weed gummies, and be bugging the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So it is something you always gotta be careful. But this is one of those stories you hear about. You know what I'm saying? Where it doesn't go the way he planned. And I also think you're not supposed to really take. And I would tell anybody this for alcohol. With weed, I don't think you're supposed to take that stuff when you're really going through something. Like, I've only used substances to celebrate. And maybe I won't say I won't use them for stress relief. I'd be lying if I
Oh
said
no,
that.
like
You know they're a stress reliever,
yeah.
but it's not like someone died and then I'm gonna take a substance and thinking that it's gonna get me back to A. It's not. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna still have those feelings on you, and then now you got this other thing in your system now that could throw your whole balance off. So it definitely is something. This is one of those cautionary tales that we see. Maybe we heard about him as kids, and now we see the experience, and it could have killed 80 something people. He's charged with 83 felony counts of attempted murder, 83 counts of reckless endangerment, 1 count of endangering an aircraft. He's lucky he didn't get terrorist charges.
He better plead insanity or something, otherwise he ain't seeing the light of day.
Perfect Talk is what it do. It's your guy DJ Playboy, man. Thank you for checking out this short clip of the Perfect Talk podcast. Please go check out every episode right there on the YouTube channel. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button.